before? I think there's an alligator.
Hello and welcome to part 6 of our 10-part series. Different grow mediums and trays. Which one's going to be the best for you? Stick till the end to find out. Hi there, microgreen lovers. Today I'll be learning about different grow mediums and trays. Which ones are best to use for growing microgreens and having the most delicious, best microgreens ever. Hi, I'm Connor with Amelia Island Microgreens, your go-to place for all things microgreens. I've been growing microgreens for 11 years, and so I have all sorts of knowledge on grow mediums and trays, learning from my mistakes and my successes, and I'm excited to share that knowledge with you today. In just a moment, I will share with you a secret tip on which grow medium works best for which microgreens. You won't want to miss this. So let's talk about the importance of the different grow mediums. Your grow medium can either make or break your microgreens, so you really want to choose the right one. Some of them you need to water more, some of them you need to water less, some of them you can reuse, and other ones you can't. So let's start with the first one, which is my personal favorite. It's one I've used since the very beginning, and it is Coco Coir. So Coco Coir is a sterilized coconut house, which is great because then you won't get eruptions of bugs, which if you were using potting soil, which we'll cover a little bit later on, you have that chance. Since you're growing microgreens, you don't have to worry about having nutrition in your soil because your microgreens get the nutrition from the seed itself. So if you think of a chicken and an egg, the egg's more nutrient dense because it has to grow a whole chicken. Same with your seed, it has to grow a whole plant. So throughout this, just keep that in mind. It's just keeping your seeds from falling through the holes. So the pros of Coco Coir. 1, it's sterile, so you don't have to worry about eruptions of bugs. 2, it's really good at retaining moisture, which means that you don't have to worry about if it's going to dry out. Some of the ones we'll cover in later, you will have a higher risk of them drying out. So that's a great thing about Coco Coir. Another great thing is that you just pour water on it, it expands like a washcloth, and then you just layer it across your tray. So it's pretty easy to set up. Now let's talk about the cons. Like I mentioned, you just pour water and it expands. It's a bit more messy. So if you're like not really someone who likes to get their hands in dirt, it's not gonna be the best one for you. Because it does retain so much moisture, it has a higher chance of mold. So that can be a pretty big concern. It's also not as quick to set up as some of our other ones like Jute Mat. Another more common grow medium is Jute Mat. Jute mat is a vegetable fiber that's been woven into a mat, and some of the amazing pros about it is that it is super easy to set up. Once you've hydrated it, you just simply lay it across your tray, sprinkle your seeds on, and you're ready to go. Another pro is that it's sterile, so you won't have the worries of bugs, and it's also clean and not messy like Coco Coir is. So now for the cons of jute. It's one of those that dries out really easily. And so you really have to be on top of water. If you're one of those people who ends up forgetting to water, this probably isn't the best one for you. I would recommend Coco Coir or one of the other grow mediums that we talk about. And I'll give you a pro tip. If you're growing with Jute Mat, I recommend if you start to see that it's kind of starting to dry out along the corners, just pour a little bit of water. I normally tell you don't top water after day 4. But if it's starting to get a little dry, just pour some water on the sides and it'll kind of rehydrate it. Because sometimes the roots just don't uptake enough water for how dry Jute Mat is on the first day after germination. And then another thing that I've noticed from me personally, other people swear by Jute Mat. I've noticed that my harvests from Jute Mat have not been as good as other grow mediums. So now let's talk about another grow medium called Vermiculite. This one's used a lot in your hydroponic towers, which I'll link a video down below on the one that we really like, so you can learn more about growing hydroponically. It's generally mixed with like potting soil of some sort. Some people like it because they can reuse it over and over again, as long as you don't add the potting soil. I find that that process of sterilizing it and cleaning it takes a while, and it's just cost effective to go with something like your Coco Coir or Jute Mat. It's also typically more expensive. However, you do get to reuse it, so it just depends upon if that is the way you want to go. Some people like to use paper towels to keep their seeds from falling through the tray as a grow medium, because all your grow medium is going to do is just keep your seeds from falling through the tray. And I've looked at that. It's pretty interesting that you can just use paper towels like that. However, one thing you really want to make sure is that your paper towels aren't bleached or have any bad chemicals in them, because that can seep into your seeds, and we don't want that. So just be very cautious if you go down that route. And if it's really the cost-effective side that you're really looking at, when you get seed refills from us, you'll get the seed and the soil, so you won't have to worry about using something like paper towel or anything that just makes you feel uncomfortable. We have both the Coco Coir and the Jute Mat, so if one of those really works for you, then just use that from us and you won't have to worry. Another really popular grow medium is hemp. It's a mat very similar to Jute Mat. I haven't personally used it, but I've heard a lot of good things from it. And it's very similar to the way that Jute Mat is. You just soak it and then you just put it on your tray. However, I've heard that it actually retains more moisture than Jute Mat does. So it's really nice. It's like the best of Coco Coir and Jute Mat. So another one that's really interesting that is very new to the market is a mat. It's very similar to those dehydrator mats. And one thing that's really cool about it is it won't break down, because plants can do stuff like break a rock. The roots are so strong that in order to create something that can be reused, you need a mat that's specifically designed for it. So it's really fascinating at how it works. The great thing is you don't need any soil, and it's very quick. You just put your mat on and it's good to go. So very easy to put down. And you also don't have to worry about any kind of chemicals, what's in it. You definitely don't have to worry about eruptions of bugs. And mold is much less. So the cons for it would be that it's actually really hard to clean, at least from my experience, because the roots get attached and it's like pulling out knots. You have to really work at getting it to where there's no roots in there. Whereas like with your soil, you just pull your soil out and it's done. Whereas this, you want to reuse it, so you'll need to get all of those little bits out. It's reusable, but it's expensive on the front end. So now let's talk about how to prepare your grow medium. Each one has a different way to prepare it for growing microgreens. They're all very similar to how they grow. Let's talk about Jute Mat and Coco Coir, which are the ones that you'll be getting in your kit. Jute Mat is super simple. You'll just unroll your mat and then you just put it in water for 5 minutes. You take it by the corner, let the water drop off, then you stretch it out and you put it on your grow tray. So super quick, super simple. So then Coco Coir, this one is really fun if you like to get your hands all dirty and just have a fun experiment. What you do is you get a bowl, you put your Coco Coir in, you pour your water in, it'll expand like those expandable washcloths. One of our types of Coco Coir that we did have before, I think there's an alligator. There's an alligator. So now with that out of the way, there are a couple of different variations of the kits that we've had over the years. One of them does have a bag that you can just pour your water in and it'll expand in the bag. So be sure to do that if you have that. And the other thing with that one is you only use half of your Coco Coir for your growing. In all of our other kits, you use the whole Coco Coir bag. Be sure to follow the directions, and you'll have that on both your Coco Coir and your Jute Mat. Once you have it expanded, you place it across your growing tray as evenly as you can, and try and remember what it looked like when it was dry, because that dry color you don't want to have anytime while you're growing your microgreens. If you notice that, be sure to water your microgreens. So now, which trays work best for which microgreens? Well, that's a great question. What you're gonna wanna look for in a microgreen tray is one that is durable so that you can reuse it over and over again, because having a durable tray will make it much easier so that you don't have to go look for another one each time you're growing. And it saves you money in the long run. So if you're wanting to grow microgreens more than just one time, a durable tray is really helpful. The other thing you're gonna wanna do is have one that's a 2-tier tray. And what I mean by that is having a graded tray on top, like what you think of when you think of like sifting sand, because that way you can have your roots grow and into the second tray. And that second tray is really great. By having the 2-tier tray, you reduce your risk of mold significantly because you're not pouring your water on top. So that 2-tier tray is one of the most important things I found in my growing experience. You want to keep your forests and microgreens as dry as possible. That's not to say to stop watering your microgreens. You just want to keep your forests dry and your roots up taking the water. You don't want them sitting in water because that'll cause root. So if you like this video so far, be sure to hit the like and the subscribe button so that you don't miss future videos from us. And be sure to stay till the end of this video so that you can see who our surprise guest was. Was it an alligator or was it something else? And right now, comment below, what do you think it was? Do you think it was really an alligator? Did I make it out alive? We'll see. So just remember, for our kit, what we do is we reuse the tray, but we never reuse our grow medium. Another grow medium that we picked up from Microgreen Farmer is mushroom compost. And it was great because it wasn't something you had to pour water and expand, and it was much less expensive. So if this worked out, it was gonna be awesome. But what we found is that we started growing micro mushrooms, and that just didn't seem to work well for us. But like them, it may work for you. They have amazing microgreens, so you never know what works for one person and what works for another. So don't be afraid to experiment. Have fun with it. Be like a little kid on Christmas and just opening up, what am I gonna grow today? Learn as much as you can and just enjoy the process. There's no wrong answer. So remember that secret tip I mentioned? Get ready because it's coming up shortly. So what's been your biggest takeaway so far? What's been the grow medium that just stood out to you and you're like, I want to grow that? I'd love to hear in the comments below. I read all your comments and I love to hear from you. And remember, it's not about perfection. It's about enjoying the process. It's a journey, not the destination. Okay, so for the secret tip, I have something really cool that's helped me when I just started growing microgreens, or for people who have trouble seeing like the little seeds as they're planting. What you want to do is look at your seed color and your grow medium. Try and get them 2 different colors. Like for example, wasabi is this bright yellow, so Coco Coir will work really well. So that when you plant your seeds, you're able to see them. It's like a neon sign saying there's a seed right here. So that way you can plant super evenly and you don't have to worry about huge clumps of seeds. Another example would be like your broccoli, which is like a darker seed, and then Jute Mat, which is like this tan color, so you can really see where your seeds are. Like that pro tip, I have another one coming up in just a moment. So if you've been enjoying learning about growing your microgreens and are ready to start growing, we'll go to our website, Amelia Island Microgreens.com/101 to get a free 10-part series on how to grow your own microgreens. So I can't wait to see you there. So be sure to keep an eye on your email for the next video. Okay, so now for that pro tip. There's a process that if you follow it, it'll give you the best harvest. And I've got a specific step-by-step process that'll walk you through right over here. I can't wait to see you there.